Hi, for my final assessment of the fashion design and dressmaking course, I've decided to make this McCalls easy pattern. It is M6891. It enables me to showcase a range of skills. So when I chose this pattern, I like the look of it, and I really wanted to replicate it and be as similar as possible. So I started off by making a toile of the top of the dress, so namely the front bodice and the back bodice. I sewed the darts on both sides, and then did the seams, the side seams as well as the top seams, to try it on. And what I noticed was that if I took the top and pulled it at the top, it fit all right at the bottom, but the top had about 5 centimeters extra material, and it just looked really weird. So I started doing some research, and what I actually found out is that McCalls patterns, and lots of different patterns, they have a standard for whom they design. So in terms of McCalls patterns, their women's sizes are for someone who's a B cup within the chest area and who's about 5'6". I'm 5 foot, and like my cup is D. So obviously it was never going to fit. So first thing I needed to do was to do a petite adjustment, meaning because it is designed for someone who is 5'6", everything's a little bit stretched. With me being a bit shorter, I needed to put everything in so that it would still be proportional and would fit. And I will share a link to a web page that I found really useful explaining how to do a petite adjustment in the comments of the video. I will also show you on the actual pattern pieces what that looked like. So I'll turn to the pattern pieces now, and I can explain further what I needed to do to make sure that it fit lengthwise. So doing a petite adjustment, firstly I realized that the top of the back was way too big. So what I did is actually, where it says high round back adjustment line, I actually folded it and ended up folding it about for myself, being a 5 foot, about 2.5 centimeters. So in total 5 centimeters on the back. I then went and again did a twirl and realized, okay, that works, but I also need to do a little bit of an adjustment at the front to make sure that the seams at the top on the shoulder seams do line up. So I ended up doing an adjustment of about folded 1 centimeter, which is 2 centimeters in total. So in total I did about 7 centimeters adjustment if you look from front to back, and then yeah, so that was the adjustment I first needed to make. But obviously doing that kind of adjustment, this will be a lot shorter on the sleeve and on the back as well as at the front. So then I needed to adjust the sleeve pattern, and I will show you shortly what that looks like. Okay, so next I needed to do an adjustment on the sleeve. Again, because we wanted to make sure that everything is proportional, I needed to adjust the sleeve for length, and again I shortened it about 5 centimeters here. And as you can see, these two pieces, when they combine, they create a single sleeve. But remember, I adjusted it different things at the front and different at the back. So what I had to do is I had to grade it out from the adjustment at the front to the back so that it would be proportional. So I did that there, and you can see the final piece there. Next, because I adjusted the front, as you can see, this is the front, and this is the front collar. It ends up being like this when it is folded outwards and when it is sitting on the actual person. Because I made that adjustment of about 2 centimeters here, obviously with the facing piece, I needed to make the same adjustment so all the pieces fit together. So again, I made that adjustment in the front facing piece as shown. Okay, so now I've done the petite adjustment so that the dress would fit lengthwise. But as I mentioned, the actual McCalls pattern is designed for size B cup and I'm a size D. So initially I thought, let's not go all the way, let's do an adjustment for size C. So I did an adjustment for size C, and I'll link the web page that I found really useful to show how to do a full bust adjustment in the comments as well. But I'll also show you what I did to illustrate. Okay, so for the full bust adjustment, what I did, I pretty much just traced this whole piece, the front bodice piece. And then what I did is I cut along the indicated line. So the pattern actually shows you how to do a full bust adjustment. And it shows you the order in which to cut things. So to be able to do so. So this is my traced. It's a little bit messy, but I'll try and explain what happened. So anyway, so first of all, we do a cut from the outer dart in into the point there, and into the apex. To make sure that we can then increase it as needed. We then also cut from the bottom dart all the way to the apex and then to the arm sickle. So you can see, but we leave a little bit open there and a little bit joined there so we can actually pivot it out. I then got a ruler and measured 1 inch for 2 sizes. Usually for a single size, an increase of a single size, it's 1/2 inch. But because I was increasing 2 cup sizes, I spread this 1 inch. And so what I did is I then lined the middle piece with one side. I drew 2 lines parallel to each other on a separate piece of paper, and I lined one side, the inner side, with this line, and then the outer side I lined parallel to it, 1 inch apart. When I spread it 1 inch, this naturally, because we had a little bit of a pivot there and a pivot there, this naturally went out, and so this naturally also spread, creating a completely separate piece. So again, I put in some extra paper behind it so that I could maintain everything, and the pattern piece is one, and it created a separate piece. So if you overlay this piece over the second piece, like size wise it's the same, but you can see there's been extra width added and also length, because you also have to, when you do the spreading, this increases the length over here. So, and you need to you cut the separate piece and then move it down so you can all line it up. So anyways, I'm hoping that this explains things. So yeah, I had to spread it out, and this is the final piece. So it increased a little bit of length, tiny bit, but also width to accommodate for the fuller cup. So that was the front bodice adjustment for the cup. Okay, so I made all these adjustments, but before I could go ahead, there were a few more adjustments I needed to make. Once I did the final twirl, I realized that I needed to do a narrow shoulder adjustment, which pretty much meant moving the shoulder line in a little bit from at the top, and then creating like a natural curve for the arm. The back also, after trying it on, I realized the darts were a little bit too wide at the bottom, so I actually let them out a little bit. I think half a centimeter on each side, so about half a centimeter on each side of the back, which then gave me a little bit more room, but it also fit better across my back. So that was pretty much all the adjustments that I needed to make to the pattern before I started cutting and getting it ready for sewing. So my next video will have more information and looking at the details of the actual pattern. So you know, how I went about different techniques, and also the different techniques required to make this pattern. But that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and give us a thumbs up if you did. Yeah, till next time. Thanks. Bye.